FPL is back, well, almost back, but we're going to be building my first draft in FPL because you are able to do that on FPL Team, so shout out to them. The fixtures have been released, so we can kind of work out now which kind of teams we're going to be targeting, which kind of players we're going to be targeting, and we got some guesses on the prices as well. So we're going to be building a team that I'm going to be looking at towards game week 1. Of course, we're going to be tinkering with this pretty much every single day when FPL full-on gets released. This is just my initial thoughts on my first draft. So I just thought I'd pull up the game week 1 fixtures, where it's obviously going to be such an important week in FPL. Everyone's always looking towards that first game week and wants to start the season strongly. By the way, if you're an FPL fan, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. We're going to be doing pretty much daily videos leading up to the season. So if you want to be the best prepared for the season, hit subscribe on this channel. Always good for some FPL chat. So, interestingly, you say never bat the early kickoff. It's not the early kickoff technically, it's the Friday night kickoff where Liverpool play against Bournemouth. Mo Salah, is he going to be the best captain? Most likely, yes. Even though it's a Friday night, it's not, Liverpool's fixtures aren't ideal. We'll discuss them a bit later on in the video, but Mo Salah against Bournemouth isn't bad at all, and it's Liverpool in the first game of the season. They're probably going to do well. So I do think Mo Salah's a good option there. For the newly promoted team, Sunderland play West Ham, which is interesting there. Leeds United play Everton on the Monday night. Not a bad fixture for Leeds opening up. United play Arsenal. United have a very difficult run of fixtures at the start of the season. Man City play Wolves. Tottenham have a nice game against Burnley, you'd say, at home. So that could be something decent there to target. And as well as that, Chelsea have a good start to the season as well. They play against Crystal Palace. So some interesting fixtures there. Early thoughts on the captaincy. Probably it's got, for me, I'm not even considering anybody else apart from Mo Salah, I'll be real. But Mo Salah is probably the number 1 for me. Then there's also maybe a Spurs player who could go for a Spurs player going forward. But again, Spurs finished 17th last season. So we've got to consider that. And maybe even a Bowen against Sunderland, because obviously Sunderland newly promoted side. They might get a rude awakening, who knows, and Jared Bowen is always at the heart of what West Ham do. Now, just looking at the teams that have the best opening fixtures on paper after the first 5 game weeks. This is all ranked right here. It says Sunderland have the easiest fixtures on paper, which, are we going to be targeting any Sunderland players? I'm not so sure. You can maybe talk about maybe like a Mayenda, who's a striker for Sunderland. He could be quite decent and would be very cheap. He should be the guy who's plays. Also, Isidore as well plays kind of in that forward line for Sunderland. Maybe, I wouldn't even be looking at a defender. I think Mayenda maybe is the one, but I don't think I'd be looking at anybody from Sunderland. Aston Villa are the next best with a decent enough run. Newcastle, Brentford, Palace, Everton, Sunderland. Chelsea as well. I've got a good run to Chelsea, a decent one to target, and Brentford as well. If you look at it, the big teams, or like the big 6 teams, they actually have a very difficult start, including Newcastle as well. You look at it down there, you've got United, bad start, won't really be looking at United. Arsenal, difficult start as well. Maybe look for an odd Arsenal player. Then you got Newcastle, difficult run of fixtures as well. You know, Aston Villa and Liverpool in the first 2. Beyond that, it's not too bad to be fair, Leeds, Wolves, but then we can maybe look to be moving towards Newcastle players. Then you've got Liverpool, difficult as well to be fair. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley and Everton. First 3 is not the best, but it's Liverpool at the end of the day. Then you've got Man City, who have got Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton, Man United and Arsenal. So again, it's not a great start for those teams down there. But we're going to have a look at my initial draft in the first teams. And do stay, because we're going to be explaining every single pick and looking at the fixtures of every single individual team in the team and explaining why I think they're good choices for the start of the season. Right, so we've spent the budget. It's all predicted prices, and it's going to be give or take around this kind of price point anyways. This is what the FPL team are guessing. So we'll start off in goal, where we have Dean Henderson. Now, I know in the first game of the season he's got Chelsea. I needed a 4.5 million keeper to fit in. There was Verbruggen, but I think I preferred Dean Henderson just based on Palace's defence last season. It was very decent. We saw how good Munoz did towards the second half of the season, and just Palace assets in general. Palace could be decent this season. Obviously, they've got Europa League football, which is something we definitely need to consider. They might not be as strong as what they were last season. As I say, they got more fixtures, and there might be more rotation potential as well. But Henderson will not be getting rotated. Now, the first fixture isn't great. The first fixture isn't great against Chelsea. But beyond that, I don't think it's absolutely awful. Now, there's a lot of strong teams in the Premier League. That's the thing. You've got the newly promoted teams, which are the whipping boys, basically. And then you've got a lot of the teams that are all decent teams. Do you know what I mean? They can all score goals. So defensively, it's always tough. It was tough last season defensively for clean sheets. But I'm going to go for Henderson. Chelsea away, not ideal. Forest at home, I say that's all right. Villa away, not ideal. But then Sunderland, West Ham, not bad. And 3 of the first 5 is decent. 3 of the first 5, I'd say, is pretty good. Or decent at least at game week 4 and 5. And then the first 3, it's a bit meh. It's a bit average. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But Palace are decent defensively, so we've got to consider that. Defensive numbers were very good last season. And again, if he's 4.5 million, he's a cheaper goalkeeper. Right, Going on to our first defender, we have Cucurella of Chelsea. And Chelsea have one of the best runs of fixtures we discussed before in the opening 5 matches. Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, United, Brighton. It's a pretty decent run. Cucurella is good going forward. Potential attacking returns going forward and some potential clean sheets. So I do quite like the option of Cucurella. I've only actually got one Chelsea player, I believe, in this team, which maybe I could even potentially double up on that Chelsea backline. But Chelsea defensively are they're not even that good. Their numbers are nothing special, and overall last season they weren't anything special. But they have got a decent run of fixtures, which I do quite like. Now this is interesting. We've got Wan-Bissaka, who's playing against Sunderland, but we have got a rotation in Konsa, where we're thinking of a rotation between these two. Now Wan-Bissaka has got a pretty average run. He's got a good first fixture against Sunderland. I'd say Nottingham Forest in bad game week 3. And then Spurs, Palace, Everton isn't bad, I don't think. I think in game week 3 it's fine. It's obviously got Chelsea in game week 2, which probably would be on the bench, let's be real. But yeah, I don't mind Wan-Bissaka. He's got good potential going forward. He's very good for West Ham last season, by the way, in kind of like a wing-back role at times. And good first fixture. Chance of points. And beyond that, it's okay. And he's 4.5 million right now, so that's why I like him. We've also got Konsa, who's got Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham. So Villa have got a decent run as well, and they were decent towards the back end of the season defensively for the most part. So I don't mind the rotation with Konsa and Wan-Bissaka, but then it's also rotating with Jayden Bogle. Now, this might be crazy, to be fair, that I've got Bogle, but if you watch the Championship, this guy gets forward so much. He was basically playing as a winger. Now, it's kind of like going for Leif Davis, basically, or like Alfie Doughty. He's basically one of them. Now, I'm thinking of taking a gamble on him. Now, he's got a decent first fixture against Everton. Bad game week 2 and 3, sit on the bench. Then Fulham, Wolves and Bournemouth, which I don't think is too bad at all. And potential for attacking returns there, because those teams, they can definitely get goals past them. Leeds. And Leeds, I think out of the newly promoted teams, I think they've got the best chance of giving the Premier League a good go and really making a good fist of it and trying to stay up. And I'm going to go for Bogle as a bit of a wildcard shout. Will he be in there come game week 1? Who knows? It's only my game week 1 draft. It's only just my first draft. Do you know what I mean? It's not that deep. Right, Mo Salah. Do I even need to explain it? Absolutely not. Bournemouth first game of the season. It's a difficult next 2 matches, but at the end of the day, I don't care. It's Mo Salah. The guy has got an incredible record against Arsenal anyway, and he scores against anyone. It doesn't matter for me. Right, Mamouche has actually been listed as a midfielder, and he's only 7 million. Now, will he actually be that? I'm not so sure, but I put him in based on the fact that he is. The fixtures for Man City, as I say, they're not great. They've got a tougher run of fixtures. They've got Burnley in 6th, but then before that, other than Wolves, it's a difficult run of games. Even the United. I mean, United's not even a bad game, to be fair. And Spurs isn't even a bad game, to be fair. If you look at it, it might not be too bad for Man City. And if Mamouche is a midfielder, if he's going to be playing, I kind of want Mamouche in the side. Then we've got Jared Bowen, who's an interesting one, of course, because he plays Sunderland. And Bowen's just, obviously, 90-minute man. You know what you're going to get. We've seen it for seasons on seasons. This guy just bags goals consistently and bags points consistently in FPL. Towards the back end of the season, he absolutely killed my rank until I got him in. So, yeah, Jared Bowen, good fixture against Sunderland. And I think going forward against these teams, they can definitely get goals against Chelsea, Forest, Spurs. I wouldn't be surprised if Bowen's scoring goals against them. So I actually really like Jared Bowen. Priced at 8 million on this. Then we've got Eze, who I think Palace's fixtures they've got a decent enough run. I think Chelsea isn't bad for the first game of the season for Palace in terms of going forward. And then Forest, Villa, Sunderland, West Ham. I can see Palace getting some goals, and Palace are a good side. And Eze we saw in the second half of the season was so impressive. If he's still at Palace, I absolutely want him in my team. Another team that we know, as I said before, has got good fixtures is Aston Villa. We discussed that with Konsa. And we're going to go for Morgan Rogers, who is 6.5 million. Maybe I was thinking more towards 7 million for Rogers, but they put him in at 6.5. Obviously did so well last season. Unai Emery loves the guy. 90 minutes pretty much the vast majority of game weeks. And the fixtures going forward for Aston Villa, I think, are decent. I think against Newcastle they can score. Brentford, Palace, Everton, Sunderland. That's a decent run, I think, for Villa going forward. So I really like Morgan Rogers again as an option this year in FPL. And then we have the boy Erling Haaland. Can we go without him? Can we not go without him? I don't know. But we're going for Haaland. We're going for Haaland and Salah. Well, you can maybe go for Palmer and swap it around in front and maybe downgrade the forward if you want to, because Chelsea have a good run of fixtures. So if you want to do that, then fair enough. But Palmer, he looked good in the Club World Cup, but in the back end of the season, wasn't good. Well, he did struggle, didn't he, for the second half of the season. So maybe Palmer's back, but I feel crazy to be picking Palmer. Haaland, we know what we're going to get at the end of the day. The guy scores goals. Slightly frustrating at times last season. Obviously started the season on fire. Then became kind of like, not really people really owned Haaland towards, from maybe like game week 10 onwards. But, because he had injury as well. wasn't even that it wasn't as owned as probably what people thought at the start of the season when the way that he was playing was just absolutely ridiculous. That he did fall off a bit, but Erling Haaland, we know we're going to get scores goals. He's got Cherky now. He's got Mamouche being behind him as well. You got Foden. They got Savinho, Docker. They got chances to feed Erling Haaland. And for Man City going forward, it doesn't matter who they play, to be fair, but I think they can get goals in all of these games against Spurs, United. Arsenal will be a bit tougher, but I think in 5 of them 6 games, you got a good chance of getting a good number of goals for Manchester City. Now, interestingly, actually, I've gone for Johan Visser up front as well. Now, we saw the fixtures where Brentford were up there in terms of the best fixtures. And will they have Mbeumo? I'm not so sure. And they don't have the manager. So there's a lot of question marks at Brentford. But Johan Visser was like 19 Premier League goals, like a ridiculous return. And if he's 7.5 million, it could be an absolute steal. If you look at if you can repeat the numbers that he put up last season. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Sunderland, Chelsea, Fulham and Man United. I don't think it's too bad at all. Brentford score goals for fun. They were one of the most entertaining teams in the Premier League last season. Visser and Mbeumo had that link up. Will they have it this season? I'm not so sure. But I do like the look of Johan Visser. Goalkeeper's got Turner as a 4 million defender. It could be anyone. I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't have put Turner. I should have put like a newly promoted club goalkeeper in, really. But I was just rushing it. Then we got Ezri Konsa, we discussed before. Dan Ballard has actually got the best run of fixtures. He should be starting for Sunderland. He played a lot of the games last season. He obviously scored in the playoffs as well. He should be starting for Sunderland, I'd expect. If he's £4 million, he's a cheap way into a playing defence. But Sunderland have got good fixtures. That's the one thing that I'm looking at. And maybe in game week 2, you could even play Dan Ballard against Burnley, given the situation of the other players as well. So that wouldn't even be that bad because Burnley don't score a lot of goals. And Sunderland, that would be kind of like a 50-50 game, you'd say, at the start of the season. Then we've got a non-playing 4.5 million striker. I've gone for 5 midfielders. I've set us up in the 3-5-2. Obviously, we don't have the massive budget. As the season goes on, it gets easier to buy players as players go up and down in price. If you get players in at the right time. So I've gone for Dan Jefferson, just a 4.5 million striker. So let me know what you think of that team in the comment section down below. Who am I missing? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one.